Hello everyone. If you've been watching me long enough, you are probably aware that my favorite Japanese band alongside Malice Miser is YAJIMA MAI. It is not nearly as much of a well-known group as most of the artists I had talked about on this channel so far, which is why I shouted them out many times to bring more people to enjoy their music, because I think it's probably the best Japanese power metal band there ever was. But that's just my opinion, of course. And so I decided to make a video going over the history of YAJIMA MAI and their vocalist. It is kinda difficult to find information about YAJIMA MAI, especially for those who don't speak Japanese. So aside from giving a rundown of the group's history, this video is supposed to be like an easily accessible source of information and trivia about them. Now, here's an important disclaimer. Mai YAJIMA was officially a solo singer who performed with a backing band. However, since the backing musicians were recruited, YAJIMA MAI operated pretty much like a typical band. Their logo used the name YAJIMA MAI, surname first, given name second. So, in this video, whenever I refer to the band as a whole, I will call them YAJIMA MAI, but when I talk about Mai herself, I will call her simply Mai or Mai YAJIMA, given name first. I hope I made this clear and understandable. I apologize if this actually complicates things. Anyway, without further ado, thank you to my patrons: Mumble Honey, Remilia, Big Body Igor, Canary Casey, The Insomniac Slayer, Dali, Lemon Piglet, Hattie Soup, Damian Trevor Vincent, and Evister, and let's get into the video. Before we delve into the story of YAJIMA MAI, I think I should address one question. Because my channel is mostly dedicated to visual kei bands, some of you might be wondering, is YAJIMA MAI visual kei? And the answer is... it's complicated. She did dress in a vkei adjacent attire, she had what I think are pretty vkei-ish hairstyles, she tagged her Instagram posts with hashtag visualkei, she was influenced by several vkei bands, and she frequently hung out with vkei artists. It is possible that she kinda considered herself to be vkei, but in none of the interviews I've seen did she state anything like I am visual kei. Also, her fanbase was rather disconnected from the visual kei subculture. Because Mai never stated that she is vkei, this is why vkG has her listed on their page but labeled as a non-vkei artist. In cases like this one, I think it is up to everyone to individually decide whether an artist is vkei or not. If the look plus inspiration plus social media text plus a bit of a connection to the scene is enough for you to consider someone visual kei, then yes, YAJIMA MAI is vkei. But if you need an appropriately expressed confirmation from the artist, then no, YAJIMA is not vkei. Personally, I think she is a very borderline case. I would not call her vkei, but I do think she is kinda vkei adjacent. I'm fine with whatever people want to classify her. Mai YAJIMA was born on April 28th. Her year of birth has not been publicly revealed. There are some places on the internet that list her place of birth as Kyoto. However, in a 2014 interview for the variety show Yutanpo, aired by RSK Sanyo Broadcasting, she revealed that she was born in the city of Soja, Okayama Prefecture. She moved to Kyoto City later in her life. In another interview, she spoke about her early musical influences, quote, "I've always liked heavy songs. When I was little, I liked anime and listened to anime songs and songs by voice actors, but something just didn't click with me. But then I heard the opening theme for the anime Basilisk the Koga Ninja Scrolls by On Myoza and the ending theme by Nana Mizuki. and I was like, wow, because it mixed elements of Japanese music and heavy metal. Also, I listened to enka because of my grandfather's influence. My grandfather loved enka, and it was always playing at home. Ishikiwa Sayuri, Miyako Harumi, Sakamoto Furumi, and so on. So I think Mizuki Nana, who originally sang enka, and On Myoza with their Japanese elements really resonated with me. After that I started listening to really intense music, exploring visual kei and metal. I also like bands like Dega Z, Diren Grey, Sid and D. She came to Tokyo hoping to become a voice actress, but someone persuaded her to try singing instead. Despite Mai's initial hesitation due to a lack of confidence in her vocal abilities, she decided to pursue a career as a vocalist. The first public mention of Mai YAJIMA as a music performer that I was able to track down is from an Amiblo blog post dated October 6, 2013. The post was made to promote Mai. It describes her as an idol aiming to become a voice actress and anime song singer. The post also notes that she performs anime songs live shows mainly in Tokyo. If I understand correctly, in one filmed interview Mai mentions that the costume we see her in photos from 2013 and 2014 was designed and handmade by her younger sister Imoto. In fact, it is also mentioned that before her solo debut, Mai and Imoto were in a unit together and they wore matching outfits. Keep in mind that I am going off YouTube's automatically translated captions here, so I apologize if my understanding of what's being said in this video is wrong.
これは、妹が全部作ってくれて、でデザインも妹がなんかこう絵を描いて作って全部布から作ってくれたので、何かのリメイクじゃなくて全部で、素材とかも太さとかもこういうのがいいかなとか、こういうのここにつけた方がいいかなとか、やっぱりステージ終わった後に衣装すごいねみたいな話になって、で私がちょっと自分でボタンもつけたんですけど、作ってもらった衣装なんですけど、なんか妹が作った衣装を褒めてもらえるのがすごい嬉しかったです。
そして姉妹が協力して作るオリジナル衣装が欠かせないものとなった。
Mai's debut original release was a single titled Kodo, released in January 2014. The single was issued in two versions, Type A and Type B. However, both versions featured the same set of songs, Kodo and Shooting Love Game. Kodo is an upbeat hard rock song, and it was used as an ending theme for the television series Nijimaru Rangers, which is a live-action adaptation of a manga by the same title. The music video for the song features clips from the TV series. The show is available to watch on YouTube with English subtitles, by the way. Mai was the subject of what I assume was a 4-minute long segment of some television program. We follow her on a visit to a Buddhist temple called Hasedera in the town of Kamakura, and later she prefers for a live show with other solo singers. We are also shown snippets of the show itself.
大好きな鎌倉の長谷寺にお参りにやってきた。
かわいい。
京都出身、和み地蔵にそっくりな矢島はソロシンガーの対バンライブに出演する矢島。
頑張ろう。やればできる子、やればできる子。よいしょ。いける。やればできる子。やればできる子。ごめん。ちょっとついちゃえる。
In August 2014, Mai's second single, Signal, or Shigunaru, was released. Once again, it was issued in two versions, but this time each version contained different songs. Type A had Signal and Shoakuma Ribasu, while Type B had Signal and Monokuro. The single had a more cheerful tone than Kodo. The following year, April 2015, she released Yozai. Same thing as with Signal, it came in two versions with different track lists. Type A had Yozai and Biohazard, Type B had Yozai and Yozakura Remember. The songs were noticeably a bit heavier than the ones on previous singles. To advertise the release of Yozai, Mai was featured on some television program again. There she talked about what concepts she has in mind while writing her lyrics and discusses her process of designing stage outfits.
歌詞の中にジャンヌ・ダルクっていうフレーズとか出てくるんですけど、かっこいい女性の戦う女性みたいな、なんかそういうのをイメージして作ってもらいました。
In late 2015, Mai decided to change her image, move away from hard rock and fully embrace heavy metal. Her new image was that of a vampire inspired by the Western depictions of said creatures. In January 2016, she started performing with a backing band. Her first release featuring the band was a venue limited single titled Vampire Maiden in February 2016. Quote, "I had always thought it would be nice to perform with a band, but I didn't necessarily want to be a vocalist within a band. Many artists who perform on big stages have live bands, so I wanted to be like that. Watching other bands, I felt the power of live sound and I thought it would be really fun to be on the singing side. However, I was so used to performing with backing tracks that it was tough when I first performed with a band. The sound balance was completely different." Members of the backing band were bassist Onishi Tsuyomi, drummer Shinobi Casey, and guitarists Shinya and Kazuma. Despite officially remaining a solo singer, YAJIMA MAI would function pretty much like a normal band. As mentioned in the intro, from now on when I talk about the band, meaning Mai and her backing musicians, I will call them YAJIMA MAI, as that's the name that was used in their logos and on album covers. But when I will talk about Mai, the vocalist herself, then I'll continue calling her Mai. It's also worth noting that at some point fans started referring to her as Mai-sama, using the highest Japanese honorific like Mana-sama from Malice Miser. Oh, and also, somewhere along the way, YAJIMA MAI started referring to their live shows as sabbaths, like the sabbaths that witches meet at. In June 2016, YAJIMA MAI released their first mini-album, The Undead. It is heavier than Mai's first three singles and features more elaborate guitar parts. It also features a lot of classical music elements. The album has been described as having a symphonic and gothic atmosphere, and genre-wise I would classify it as symphonic metal. A music video featuring Mai and her backing band was recorded for Kakusei Jinx. Mai started dressing in a darker, aristocratic-like attire. She also started wearing contact lenses that changed her eye color to red. After the release of The Undead, YAJIMA MAI switched record labels from South to North Records to a label called Fitone, a sub-label of Daiki Sound. In January 2017, the band released their second mini-album, Bloodthirsty. The album is centered on the theme of blood. Yes, just blood. There are a lot of mentions of blood throughout the lyrics. It's a very bloody mess. The album is significantly more fast-paced than The Undead. I think this is when Mai found the exact style of metal she wanted to perform. In Japan, this genre is popularly called melodic speed metal, but metalheads in the West would probably usually classify this as symphonic power metal. This is also the genre that the Metal Archives chose for YAJIMA MAI. Mai herself referred to her style of music as symphonic vampire metal. The album features arrangements by Kyoto Sensei, who has previously worked with Baby Metal and was responsible for that group's most metal songs. A music video was made for the song Blood Resolution. The way that this song is structured is very reminiscent of classic X-Japan. It reminds me of Kurenai and Silent Jealousy specifically. My personal favorite from this album is Tsukuriega Oto Uso Itsuwari no Camouflage. Great guitars, great drumming, and of course great vocals by Mai. Costume-wise, during this era, Mai wore a blue aristocratic costume reminiscent of visual kei bands that represent the vkei subgenre. Somewhere around this point in time, YAJIMA MAI started performing alongside bigger Japanese metal bands. Bloodthirsty was followed by another mini-album, Innocent Emotion, released in December 2017. The album was supposed to be emotional, with emphasis on, quote, the concept of emotions related to love. In an interview for Vkei Rock, Mai was quoted saying, "I put all sorts of emotions into my lyrics. This is a bit of a stretch, but my family situation was complicated, so I sometimes wondered, what is love? I understand the word love, but I don't really understand it. I wonder if there's such a thing as purely beautiful love. I've seen ugly love too, so I wanted to express that as well, because that's what's real." This era features what I think is my favorite costume of Mai. Quote, "I talked with the staff and we decided to go for heavier makeup to create a more intense look. I wanted to strongly emphasize my artist image, including the makeup, rather than just being seen as an ordinary girl playing metal." The album also has my favorite song by this band, Replica. The song has a music video, and I think this is the fastest song in Mai's discography. I am not sure, but I think it is either Replica or Inferno, which I also like a lot. I like fast songs. This is also when YAJIMA MAI released their first live DVD. It's interesting because I've never seen it mentioned on any online discography list for the band. I only saw a listing of it on Mercari some time ago, and I added it to my cart but didn't buy it, and the next day it was gone. So hopefully I'll have better luck next time. October 2018 saw the release of YAJIMA MAI's first full-length album, Vampiress. It is a concept album inspired by Elizabeth Bathory, the Hungarian noblewoman and niece of the King of Poland. Bathory was convicted of murdering hundreds of women. She was rumored to indulge in certain vampiric tendencies, such as bathing in the blood of virgins to retain her youth. A lot of the legends surrounding Elizabeth Bathory are probably fake stories made up after her death. But, well, she still killed a lot of women, so, you know, she was pretty weird anyway. The album, quote, explores themes of female suffering, lamentation, ugliness, and dark beauty. Orchestral and classical elements are way more present here than on previous releases. While Bloodthirsty established Mai's musical style, Vampiress perfected it. The album features what I think is YAJIMA MAI's most popular song, Lunatic Isolation. And I think it's the most popular for a good reason. This song highlights everything that's great in this band. It has a great harpsichord intro that could rival Moi di Moi, a very fast tempo, amazing guitars, a short piano break near the end before a more intense chorus. And of course Mai's vocals are great as always. And the music video is beautiful. It was shot at night in some Christian church with the band performing in the rain. Totally a perfect song. And the whole album is perfect in my opinion. After Vampiress, YAJIMA MAI took a break from releasing new music that lasted about a year and a half. Then they returned with what they called a trilogy of melodic speed metal mini-albums. First, Hell on Earth in March 2020. I think this is YAJIMA MAI's heaviest album and it features less orchestral elements. Music video for the song Dominator was recorded in a massive stone quarry now part of the Oya History Museum. 9 months later, in December 2020, Heaven Knows was released with a music video for the song Mother. The album is not as heavy as Hell on Earth. It is more melodic and has more orchestral elements again. It is centered on the theme of death. My personal favorite from this one is Phoenix. Heretical Soul, mini-album concluding the trilogy, came out in July 2021. It brought a momentary change of the image of YAJIMA MAI. On stage and in music video for Daydream, the band wore white costumes and the song started using futuristic synthesizers. This era also brought us a second DVD by YAJIMA MAI, Heaven and Hell Soulful Sabbath. In April 2022, YAJIMA MAI announced plans to halt their activity. The official announcement reads, "A message from Mai YAJIMA to everyone. Thank you for always supporting YAJIMA MAI. I will be suspending my activities after my solo live performance on June 19th. I apologize for surprising you with this sudden announcement. Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, I've been working tirelessly from my 3-part mini-album series to my best of album release next month. But I haven't been able to find time for input, so I've decided to take a break and recharge for a while. I struggled with making this announcement, but I wanted to properly inform everyone who supports Mai YAJIMA, rather than letting time pass without any news. I hope you understand that I'm suspending my activities in order to make Mai YAJIMA even better in the future. I haven't decided on a duration, but I promise to come back even more evolved. It's a selfish request, but I really hope you will all wait for me. And when the time comes, I hope you will welcome me warmly again." YAJIMA MAI decided to go out in style by releasing their second full-length album, also called their best of album, Metamorphose, in May 2022. The album is mostly comprised of new recordings of YAJIMA MAI's songs from the previous mini-albums and Vampiress. But it also features 3 new songs, that is Metamorphose with a music video, Injustice and Silver Bullet. Silver Bullet was actually the first song fully composed by Mai herself. The album debuted at number 4 on the Oricon Indies album charts. Quote, "Some of the older songs were recorded with just raw energy, for better or for worse. In that respect, I think I have expanded my range of expression as a vocalist compared to before, and I felt I was able to use that as needed when singing. I think I was able to reflect my growth and maturity in my singing compared to before. In Metamorphose, I am depicting what happens when a sensitive Chunibyo person encounters and becomes obsessed with dark, fantastical things that are unrealistic and different from everyday life, or their cherished idols. Words like darkness afflicted and black Cinderella in the lyrics perfectly represent the state of being afflicted with Chunibyo. At the same time, the word metamorphose, which means to change or transform, connected very beautifully to my idea that this album is about existing past songs being reborn as a best-of collection. The band officially went on a hiatus after a live show on June 19th, 2022. Mai commented on the show on Twitter, calling it the greatest Sabbath in history and saying, "Let's meet again someday." In an interview, Mai was quoted saying, "YAJIMA MAI will be taking what is generally called a hiatus from the activities. Of course, this is not a negative thing, I just want to take a break to recharge. So before that, being able to release Metamorphose as a culmination of my activities has been good because it has made the path I want to further pursue much clearer. I want to take some time to prepare myself so that I can build up even stronger strength to open the next door from here." It has been 4 years since YAJIMA MAI went on a hiatus, and as far as I am aware, we have heard nothing from Mai or her staff. Their website, yajimamai.com, was shut down some time ago. And sadly, this is where the story ends for now. I really hope that we will see Mai return someday in the future, and I hope she is doing alright. And also, I hope you enjoyed my telling of the story of YAJIMA MAI. If you have not heard of this group before, please go check them out. Thank you to Mumble Honey, Remilia, Big Body Igor, Canary Casey, The Insomniac Slayer, Dali, Lemon Piglet, Hattie Soup, Damian Trevor Vincent, and Evister for supporting me on Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.